So we got to talk about Mr. Beast. Let's talk about Mr. Beast for a minute. So Mr. Beast, he's in a lot of trouble right now. I think we've done a couple of videos on it. Some people have turned Mr. Beast outrage videos into like the new Amber Heard, I swear to God. And for a while, it was like verboten. Like you were not allowed to talk about Mr. Beast on YouTube without getting demonetized or your video was like throttled. But it's turned into like the new Amber Heard drama, right? Mr. Beast has all these allegations against him. We're going to talk about this lawsuit. There's a lawsuit now. He's getting sued. Amazon's getting sued for his game show. And amidst all of the controversy, they're helping Logan Paul. Is it Logan Paul? Yeah, it's Logan Paul. Launch a Lunchables competitor. I don't understand. I don't understand what these YouTubers are doing. I know Dan TDM called him out, and he was kind of like, what the hell happened to YouTubers? And I agree with him 100%. It's like, why is it not enough to just know your role? Why do you have to? How are you going to compete with like Nabisco and Hershey and Oscar Mayer and these like mega corporate food corps that have been around for decades, some of them over 100 years? And some like 25-year-old YouTuber is going to come in and be like, that's right, we're going to take their lunch. Ha, 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 ha. It's kind of the hubris with comic books too. And I don't want to get into that situation, but like you can do indie comics through YouTube and you can be very successful at it. But I think it's really naive to assume that you're going to be able to compete one-to-one with like a Marvel or DC that's bankrolled by Disney and Warner Brothers, right? I mean, it's just not going to happen. In your own space, you can make really good money, and you'll probably make more money as an indie creator than you would working for one of these companies. But you're not gonna take their market share. It's just not going to happen, right? You don't have the infrastructure to do that, and no YouTuber has the infrastructure to do that. But Beast he's gonna try. He's gonna wind up, my personal opinion, he's gonna wind up going bankrupt, chasing this stuff. But anyway, yeah. So he had to respond. He responded to Drama Alert, but he won't respond to the allegations. Now there's a lawsuit, and this was right before the lawsuit news dropped. Lunchables sells hundreds of millions of units, and countless people eat it. Yes. Why would you want to compete with them head to head? Our goal is to give people a better for you alternative. Our turkey meal is 80 less calories and 60% less sugar. Didn't he add more sugar to his candy bars? More electrolytes. We use real cheese. They use real cheese product, whatever. And people are calling him out. They're like, why are you responding to this when this stuff is going on? Probably because his lawyer won't let him respond to it. Mr. Beast and Amazon sued by Beast Games contestants alleging sexual harassment, chronic mistreatment, and more. Several contestants ended up hospitalized. Now they've apparently pushed the Beast Games back to a later date until they get this sorted. But Amazon spent $100 million on this, and it wound up being Rolling Stone had an article today calling it Fire Festival. I think we did a video on it a while ago calling it Fire Festival. But yeah, so let's talk about that, and I'll get to some of these comments and super chats, guys. Thank you very much. I'm not used to live streaming, so I'm used to just kind of like going with the flow here, and I'm not trying to ignore anyone. Mr. Beast and Amazon sued by Beast Games contestants alleging sexual harassment. As reported by Variety, 5 unnamed participants of the show. There were like 2,000 people. So it might start with these 5, but there are 2,000 people that might want in on this. 5 unnamed participants, which reportedly pits 2,000 contestants against each other for a single cash prize of $5 million, and has already had several allegations raised against it. And the press have had a class action lawsuit filed against both Mr. Beast, real name Jimmy Donaldson. Oh, they doxed him. And Amazon over the alleged mistreatment. That's a very important word. That's what gets you out of defamation suits. According to the lawsuit, participants were not paid properly, experienced emotional distress, did not receive uninterrupted meal breaks or rest breaks, and deprived them of medical care, food, sleep, and the necessities of basic hygiene. Female participants were allegedly subjected to a hostile work environment. And I heard that they weren't even like allowed to get pads during like that time of the month or something, and their meds were like, it's crazy. And the person who blew the lid off of this was actually the Nerdy Nummies. Nerdy Nummies like blew the lid off of this. And it was her and like Jaden Animations, who was in his YouTuber, and she won. And she was even like, yeah, I made my video talking about how great Jimmy was before I knew Jimmy wasn't so great. And now Dan TDM, like, these are like very wholesome YouTubers, right? They're very wholesome YouTubers, and they're all like, yeah, MrBeast is a piece of shit. Yeah, it's not like, and they're not sketchy. They're not small. They're big channels. And it's like, wow, this is crazy. The lawsuit was filed in the LA Superior Court on September 16th and seeks class action status on behalf of the affected contestants. It demands Amazon MrBeast company pay alleged, very important word, unpaid wages, expenses, and punitive monetary damages. Beast Games was announced as the biggest reality competition of all time in March. It looked to turn MrBeast's regular YouTube formula of having strangers compete for grand prizes. Strangers. They said it's usually his friends. Strangers compete for grand prizes into a series of Amazon Prime Video for Amazon's Prime Video platform. Shows not aired yet, but began filming in July. It's going to have 2,000 contestants instead of the previously announced 1,000. The increase would reportedly allow content to be filmed from MrBeast's YouTube channel as the first 1,000 competitors were eliminated, with the surviving 1,000 put through the actual Amazon show. This is the first of several instances of divergent realities alleged in the lawsuit. Divergent realities, is that what we're calling it now? We used to call it lying. That's what we used to call divergent realities. While participants know upon signing the contract at the production inception that they were facing a potentially long and challenging competition, they alleged getting a lot more than they bargained for. I can't go into detail, but that is an MO at this particular organization, and we might have firsthand knowledge of that. And I am not. Another time. Several contestants ended up hospitalized, while others reported suffering physical and mental complications while being subjected to chronic mistreatment, degradation, and hostile working conditions. And again, the people there, Nerdy Nummies, like, she's probably like one of the most inoffensive YouTubers out there, and she's the one that was like blowing the lid off this thing. Crazy. The lawyer said the suit also seeks to establish a pattern of sexual harassment, citing an alleged employee handbook called How to Succeed in MrBeast Production. Okay. If talent wants to draw a dick on the whiteboard in the video or do something stupid, let them do it. Do everything you can to empower the boys when filming and help them make content. That is not going to help your case, given some of the allegations with your employees there. In Delaware and all that stuff. I'm just saying, this is not going to help. One female plaintiff said that they were a fan of MrBeast, so they wanted to join the show. I expect to be challenged. I think it'd be treated like nothing less than nothing. And as one of the women, I can say it absolutely felt like a hostile work environment. So, I mean, again, two sides to every story, right? But this is a pattern of behavior. And look, you don't get to the top of YouTube by playing nice. I mean, you used to be able to, but now it's cutthroat. So yeah, I totally believe that there's some stuff going on here. They said that participants completed contracts and they were promised compensation for their services, according to plaintiff's lead counsel, Robert Pafundi of Pafundi Law Firm. Their expectation of compensation, along with them being consistently under the control and supervision of the production staff, makes them employees under California law. That's interesting. This serves as the basis for the lawsuit. They were entitled to and denied certain protections. And when you add to that the extreme neglect, degradation, harassment, and inhumane conditions, it's quite simply a massive dereliction of duty for which the defendants must and will now be held accountable. Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of this. I think what is going to be the undoing of MrBeast is it's going to be death by a thousand cuts. And it's everything. Once the floodgates open, I think there's going to be like 5 or 8 years of stuff that's been in the closet. It's all going to come out. We're starting to see that, and it's a shit show, man. And I think we're going to see a lot more of this. And Amazon, look, this never works out. Very seldom do YouTubers make it into the mainstream media. right? They've tried this before. Remember the Fred TV show? Does anybody remember that? Remember the Annoying Orange TV show? Like it doesn't work. And I can tell you, I mean, I don't know how his stuff is actually selling across the country, but I know at the Walmarts I've been to, there's a lot of Feastables sitting there, and a lot of them got sent to Ollie's, and they're still sitting there. I'm just saying, it's weird, but we'll see. I think there's gonna be a lot more, but yeah, so we'll see what happens. This one, again, I have not been watching it super closely because it's become its own kind of cottage industry, like the Amber Heard thing, right? So we're gonna talk about some we'll talk about some other stuff here.